Welcome to our pilot of a pilot episode, our first episode of United We Stand America national version. It's U.W.S. America. So you can check out our website, uwsamerica.com. And we're here to help people in America remember that we, the people, are meant to fulfill a divine part of bringing in liberty, justice, and freedom into our nation, not just in the past in 1776 or sometime in the past, but right now and in the future now as well. And so we're here to help inspire you at home or wherever you are to find your divine inspiration and actually find out what you can do in your own life to make your life a more sovereign place, that good things come your way and good things come the way of America. So we're going to start out today. We have about 12 people on this call, all amazingly beautiful, wonderful people who are doing something to make the world a better place and make this country a better place in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to give us all a question to answer as part of the intro, just so we say hi to everybody, and we'll go through everybody one by one. So my question today to you and myself is going to be, it's two parts. So the first part is, what's one thing you've done to make America a better place, or fulfill some for your higher power, for God in you? What's the one thing you've brought into this world? And so whatever it is you've done, just let us know one thing. And then what is it that inspired you to do that? Why did you do that? The challenging part of this question is that we're going to try to do this with one sentence to one thing you've done. And the second thing is going to be one sentence why you've done it. So if you can pull it off, great. If you can't, we'll try to do it. So one sentence, we'll just kind of try to keep it nice and short, just get to know you a little bit. And specifically what's, if you have a website, or if you brought a movie out, or if you've led a movement of some sort at the border, or whatever you've done. If you stood up at a school meeting, I don't know, but let us know. So I'll start out. And my name is Michael Purity. And I've helped begin this movement that we're a part of here today. It's called U.W.S. America. It's one thing I've done. And I believe it's one nation under God. And the reason I've done it is because I really believe that there's a need for Americans and for anybody who cares enough to stand up, step up, and speak up and do their part. And I believe this movement will be a good, ideally way to help people, a necessary way to help people learn how to do that and unify those efforts. So that's me. Okay, so I'm going to pass this around in the order I'm seeing this. So try not to think too hard. It'll just come to you hopefully in the moment. But my order that I'm seeing this is David Roberts next. So David Roberts, one thing you've done and why?
One thing, I have instilled and built assemblies under the First Amendment all across the United States, assemblies and committees of safety. We've done it from the ground up, and I've been inspired by God. I was led by God to make this all happen.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Perfect. All right, I'll pass it over to Joshua and Sierra Hayes over in Texas.
Sorry, my wife was having to do the technology for me. I had no idea what to do. We're actually in Oklahoma, but close enough.
Thank you.
Just north of the Red River. Well, we started a homestead that's not just a homestead. It's also a ministry and a way to give back food stuff instead of having to buy it at the grocery. So people that are in need don't have to depend on McDonald's because they can't afford anything else. What inspired us? Well, we just saw a lot of hurt and broken people that weren't getting the help from churches like they should, us including that. So we started that and started a Gifts and Go, trying to raise money to do that.
Thank you very much. And Sierra, what do you got? You got to add anything to that?
No, I can't think of anything to add to that. We're pretty much on the same wavelength when it comes to knowing what to say.
Well, I don't know who set up your studio, but it's excellent. So that's another great thing you've done.
I did.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
When I had back surgery, she's the one who built it for me while I just pointed.
Yeah, he just said what he wanted, and I made his vision come to life. So
okay, well, there you go. That's excellent. Thanks for doing that. Okay, well, good things coming your way. I can foresee that for sure. Let's pass that over to Darren, and maybe let us know where you're calling, where you are today as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. For the past 25 years, God kind of gave me a business model, and I teach people how to run their own business, which kind of gives them the freedom to, from breaking out of corporate America, so they control their time, they can be with their family, and can make an unlimited income. So that's kind of what I do.
All right. Thanks for doing that. That's an important part of America, isn't it? All right. We'll pass over to Amanda, awakenandunite.com. Over to you, Amanda.
I'm a documentary filmmaker. I had a vision from God many years ago to help sex traffic victims and started documenting major movements in history because of it. And I didn't realize how deep it went. So I created awakenandunite.com, tons of content on there, just trying to wake people up with real answers.
And what drives you? What's your driving force?
God. I obviously had a vision from God to do this many years ago, and multiple other spiritual experiences and testimonies that I've been shown. So God, this consciousness of God that is of love and good intent, is very real to me.
Excellent. Thanks for what you're doing. We'll pass that over to a good friend of ours, good friend of mine, Rhonda Myers. Rhonda Myers, over to you.
Hi, so I developed a series of techniques called self-freedom techniques that help people look at how they create their reality and how they can turn around and recreate it. The techniques actually talk the person through that initial creation that is false narrative, and gives some methods and ways to actually change it and turn it into a more positive narrative so that they can move forward and not recreate over and over again patterns that keep pushing them toward difficulties and challenges, but rather push them toward manifesting their highest potential. And that's something that I do. I live in Texas, and I was inspired by seeing so many people keep repeating these patterns over and over, and seeking out methods and ways to help them stop doing that so they can eventually free themselves from such things.
Thank you. Wow, it's Soul Freedom Techniques, very powerful. Thank you, Rhonda. I know there's a book on Amazon, 2 books actually, Soul Freedom Techniques, Rhonda Myers. We'll pass it over to Sheila.
Hi. Thank you so much for doing this. It's really inspiring. So I created an organization with another mother called ablechild.org. And our mission is informed consent and the right to refuse psychiatric drugs. I was inspired by other courageous women that were willing to put it out there. And my son, who was 7, and I didn't want to put him on any psychiatric meds. And so I started this organization, and then I delved into foster care. And my divine inspiration is Jesus. It just is. Thank you. And I'm in Florida.
Excellent. Thank you, Sheila. We really appreciate what everybody's doing here and what you're doing. That's important stuff. And we're going to learn some more today as well as one of our segments with you, Sheila. So I look forward to that today. And we'll pass that over to Noelle. Thanks for being here, Noelle.
Hello, everyone. This is Noelle Roberts. I'm here in Arizona. And I just recently really had a big input here. You know, we have a lot of problems in Arizona, as you guys know, with our borders. So we just hosted a 3-state same-day rally, takeourbordersback.com, on February 3rd. And I actually organized and led the Yuma rally. It was an all-day 12-hour rally overnight. And we had people from 30 states come to Yuma, and Canada, also several families from Canada drove down, and it was highly successful. And it was really just to bring awareness that a lot of people actually don't know what's happening still, even though I know it's on the news, but of course not everybody watches that anymore because it's so ridiculous mostly, but troubling. But I do everything. I mean, honestly, my two boys are 19 and 22, and we live here in Arizona. We're just a few hours from that situation, and the danger involved. For those of you in Texas, you understand, is a real danger, and it's really honestly heightening every single day. So that's how I became involved, and that's actually I met Michael recently on a trip we were together in another state. So I'm so pleased to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, the Clay Clark, a Patriot podcaster invite only event, which I was able to get into because I was at the business conference prior to it, and that worked out really well. So grateful to meet you, Noel, and wonderful to have you here. And yeah, those challenging things at the border, that is a very significant conversation to have at some point. So let's take a talk. Let's have an episode about that really soon. Thanks for doing your.
And if I could say real quick too, before I go on mute, if we could all just maybe throw our names and contact in the chat, so we could be in touch if that's okay with everybody. I'm gonna put mine in there, so just asking if others can too.
Definitely, yeah. And you can always reach out to me too, and I'll try and put it together. Excellent. Let's put that in the chat. We'll pass that over to Mark. Oh, I think you're muted, Mark.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound good.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark. I live in the California Republic. And I think one of the things that I've been doing is divorcing myself from the United States. And I moved to the United States of America. And especially after COVID-19, I've been teaching people how to become state nationals, so they can regain their freedom. And at the same time, I've been helping my local Patriot community learn more about the usury system that we're in, and been going down that rabbit hole and starting to make some progress with regards to that. There's a lot to be shared about our currency system and how it really works behind the scenes. And that's kind of my side project. So that's what I've been working on. It's really exciting.
What's your driving force?
My driving force is to bring back the Republic. Bring back the Constitutional Republic and help people make the choice to move back to the land of the free, which is the United States of America.
Okay, well, I look forward to learning more, Mark. This is really interesting stuff. Thank you for what you're doing, and I know you're very perseverant, so I appreciate that. Let's move in to talk to our good friend, dear Miss Erin. Over to you, Miss Erin.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yay, it's my new earbuds. I'm so excited. Yay. My name is Erin. Nice to meet you all. I feel like I got to meet Michael when I first moved here and started working at Soul Connections in Mount Shasta here. So he started this, and I've been kind of here since the beginning. And it's been fun, and I'm a self-love coach, and then I also work at Soul Connections. I touch people every single day from all around the planet, and I know that like the things that I say to them is spreading out around the planet, and like the hugs and the tears and all that work and love that I get to give them is I know it goes to the rest of the planet. So that's my driving factor. It's like really teaching people like that love is really truly, like I have a tattoo on my back, like God is love, like love in action, like it's a way of being. So yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you all. I appreciate it. Woohoo.
All right, Miss Erin, thank you. Yeah, way of being. I like that concept for what U.W.S. America is really about as well. A way of being. That's very good. Thank you. Over to Catherine.
Hi, everyone. I am in the San Francisco Bay Area, and what I've done is we started a committee of safety here in Alameda County. And our main accomplishment has been to produce, probably over 100 people now who have a basic education in their constitutional rights, which we need a fully informed citizenry to hold them in compliance to the Constitution. So that's our goal, is to restore constitutional compliance. And, honestly, I'm inspired by my kids and my grandkids and their kids and 7 generations. You know, we need to make sure that we maintain freedom in this country. You know, my dad didn't come here for me to lose, you know, to be a part of losing that for our future family. So that's my inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Very nice. Appreciate that. So we're going to moving into Jeffrey and then Anna and then Jewel. So we'll go to Jeffrey to start with. Over to Jeffrey. I think you're still muted, Jeffrey. Okay, we'll go back to Jeffrey. There he is.
Okay.
No, there he is. Okay, excellent.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I thank you, Michael, for having the call, and welcome to everybody. Like, some amazing people on the call. Clearly, some who I know and some who I haven't met yet. But I live in Benicia, California, which is in the Bay Area. And one thing that I've done is getting involved with. Basically, I created an advocacy group called We the People Bay Area, but then ended up getting involved with the Solano County Committee of Safety. And now I am in the process of promoting the idea of committees of safety around the state. And David, I would love to talk to you more about what you're doing and where you're doing it, because it sounds like you're doing the same thing. And I'm really grateful that I was able to have a huge influence on getting the masks off of the school kids in Solano County. And it was a small thing, but I kept at it for over a year until finally the health officer here, he put out new guidance, and the kids didn't have to wear masks anymore, and they shouldn't have to ever again. So small thing, but now we're going bigger with the committees of safety and really restoring constitutional governance in our county, but also all the counties of California, with the goal being to, reclaim our elections, reclaim our republic and our freedom that have slipped away. So really grateful to be on the call. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, thank you, Michael, for hosting. Okay.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. All right, over to Anna at theflameusa.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anna with The Flame, and I provide a newspaper and podcast for people to get their information out. So we're in education, and we are working hard to get censored information out into the public, because we know that our mainstream media is censoring like crazy. And so we are just working hard to bypass all of that. And my inspiration, definitely, I'm a mom of 6. So my children is my main inspiration, aside from God. Definitely what The Flame is doing was prophesied over. And so I'm just stepping into that.
All right. Well, it's a wonderful newspaper. I'm happy to be writing my very first story for it. And a lot of contributors have even called into this call. So really cool. Thanks.
Yes.
Anna.
No,
And
thank you, Michael.
mother of 6. Now that I did not know. Okay. Well, God bless. So using grace, you're a powerful, powerful mom. I think moms can save America, but the men need to step up too.
We need the real men out there.
What? The real men.
I said, we need the real men out there.
Yeah, we need them all. So let's get rocking. Okay, and then over to my beautiful wife in the home study, Jewel, Faith, and over to you. Go for it.
Hi, everybody. Well, welcome. Good job, Michael. He went to Clay Clark Business Group and he met you all. So that was worth kicking him out of the house for the weekend. Good job. Welcome, everybody. What's great about the last 4 years is this culture. And a lot of us watch these Zooms, we fill up our days watching other people tell us about things. And here we are. This is the new media. It's called We the People. And this is it. And so isn't that a good thing on this Good Friday, that it's a miracle that we now have a free media? This is made up of We the People, because necessity is the mother of all creation. So here we are, and now all these superstars that aren't billionaires, you know, controlling the world, are actually the stars of the world. And that's quite right. You know, we don't need an Oscar red carpet ceremony for us. We just want to work for God. So well done, you know, Michael, for getting this amazing band of amazing souls together, and blessed Good Friday to everybody and Easter weekend for those of you that observe that. Yeah, I'm like Sierra, I'm I'm with him. So you know, the brains behind the hard work behind the scenes. And I present, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I receive songs. I have a beautiful song called Freedom Rise that came from God while I was walking the dogs. It could definitely be up there as the national anthem. And we put on these events. And why do I do it? I'm British, you might notice, so we have a lot to answer for. And I just believe in America more than the average person who was born here, because I know what it's like to not be born here. And I know what it's like to be under the crown and to be a subject and not even a citizen. And so I cried the first time I read the Constitution in Rockefeller Plaza. I actually had tears. I didn't even know you had those kind of inalienable rights. So I believe in fighting for those, but I also believe that I've read the end of the Bible. And I think we're at the reckoning stage here, you know, that God wins. And I believe that there will be nothing but God to turn this mess around. There's no human being that can turn it around. And that was Jesus' real message, actually. With God, all things are possible. So it's not the only book I've read, by the way. I have read a lot of different spiritual material, but I got to say, the Bible says it all of what's coming in terms of the reckoning of the demonic forces that have taken control of this planet for a very long time. It's the end of their time. And I don't believe in just fixing this place, you know, so that we can just go on having a you know, a nice Costco membership and everything convenient. I believe that we have to live in a brand new kingdom that is coming down to this earth. And it's going to be beautiful. We're going to be equal. Everyone counts. And we don't need to kill people and murder them in order to get our rights back. So those are my motivations.
Thank you, Jewel. Faith. All right. Look at that. Well, let's pass it over. Actually, I didn't realize Miles is here as well. Miles, I don't know if you can put your video on, but you are a wonderful artist, and we'd like to share something. What the question again? What's one thing you've done for America, for your higher power, and what's one and why? Just one thing. I'm trying to keep it to one sentence or so.
One sentence. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't really ready to get on the video, but hello, everyone. Michael and Jewel are my good friends, and Luciana and Rhonda too. And gosh, well, yeah, I mean, say just, you know, the simple act of informing and educating about good food and clean water, and how to yeah, inspiring. I think, like kind of Jewel said, everybody to listen to their own self. I think that's the key to this awakening that we have, is really making sure that we affirm that the kingdom of heaven is within, and we share that message with the world. I think a more empowering thing than to know thyself like that, and to spread that message. And anyone else who tells you different, don't listen to them. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Miles. Calling there from Santa Cruz. So wonderful. Well, we have a nice contingent of grateful folks here today, and we're gonna get started with a little. I'm gonna do a little prayer actually, because I like to give a little prayer, especially for maybe people are watching as well. And also, then we're gonna have a song because it is Good Friday, and so we're celebrating a victory, which is a very tough victory, which is when Jesus Christ said, yes, I will say, not my will, but thine be done. And I believe it was a kind of a Thursday night representation. He sweated in the garden. He didn't really like the idea of what he was about to have to do. But he said, not my will, but thine be done. And he did it. And that was a victory. Why? For many, many reasons, of course. But one of them is to show us that when we follow God's will, there really is no death. And that spell of death is kind of a spell in itself. So I like the fact that people here have courage, and we're here to be free and be sovereign and not be scared. And so Jesus also said some words. He said, those who seek to save their lives will lose them, but those who seek to lose their lives for my sake will save them. So I like the fact that here we are living our life free and sovereign in America, where people had to fight for those freedoms a long time ago, and they won. They won. And we have a constitution that guarantees those rights under the higher power, not under the government. Of course, the government's there to protect those rights. And anytime they would usurp them, they're no longer a legitimate government, because the Constitution is the law of the land, as we all know. So thank you, God, for sponsoring your great nation, the United States of America, and all the nations of the world, as this nation's flame, its central purpose is freedom. And so we choose to be free here at U.W.S, United We Stand America. So I'm just making a little general prayer, and then I'm pass over Jewel Faith for opening us up with a song, because I'd like to get a spiritual spirit action going on. And I'm just gonna make that general prayer in the name of Jesus Christ and your God, victory, in the name of the higher power of America, God itself, to bless those who are watching this call, this call in the future, and those on the call, for all those maybe this parts of us or parts that are challenging, there where there's suffering, where there's stress, where there's some kind of energy where we are not quite at peace with ourselves and our lives, and there might be a fear of how things are going to work out. So just allowing right now some peace of Jesus Christ, the peace of Christ, and the peace of the higher power, peace of how we relate to our higher power and our intuition, to start to enter that we know we are loved. We know that we have a loving spiritual father and mother in heaven who can take care of every one of our needs. And we can start to let go of tomorrow and yesterday, start to be so present right now that the glory of the kingdom come as above, so below, and manifest right here and now. So thanks for feeling that spiritual protection, maybe a little bit of Archangel Michael's legions of light, 100% light. We like to work with 100% light only. So bringing that 100% light in the name of Jesus Christ for the clearing of our energetic field, the clearing of our body and our mind, and all those watching, any fear and doubt and worry, just letting it go, entering us in our heart, because that's what this is, a heart-centered movement. So pass over to Jewel Faith, and we can tune in for a little meditation and a little good cheer with God within.
Can you guys hear the ukulele? Because I don't know if it's got the right kind of sound on.
Well, you're not playing too loud yet, but I think we'll be able to hear it a little bit.
Okay.
Not too much. Not too much.
Well, I think all of you know this prayer. It was actually written by Jesus Christ, and it was given to his apostles. And a lot of people don't like it because they believe it's a repetitive prayer. But if we really meditate on it, let's just meditate on what he meant. And I put it to a little melody. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Oh Lord, give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Help us not fall into temptation, deliver us and defend us, Lord. But thine is the kingdom, the power, forever and ever. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Oh Lord, on earth as it is in heaven. bring us your kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Oh Lord, amen.
All right. Thank you, Jewel Faith. It's a lovely song and it sounds great. The Zoom setting was a little hard to hear the ukulele, actually. I'm sorry to say. It's that Zoom thing, it's got a way to hide the music, and I don't know how to do it yet. But it sounded really good. So thank you very much. Let's just tune in right now to the fact that God's kingdom is here right now. We don't have to wait. We're not here to wait. We're here to bring it home by being present with our divine direction. Thank you, Jewel Faith. Beautiful hymn. Let's tune in to our next segment. Now, we normally have a good news segment right now, but actually we do light the candle first. So over to Miss Erin. Can you light our candle for the day? We like to have a flame lit for the show and the service.
I am so excited for this inaugural lighting with my new super American flag lighter. So, in the spirit of igniting our inside love, feeling, vibration, all of that, we'll take a deep breath in. And instead of saying Om, we're going to say freedom. So we'll just kind of throw the freedom into the Om. So we'll take a deep inhale in, exhale out. And then if anybody has a candle, you light it now. But inhale in again. And then thank you.
All right, Miss Erin, thank you very much. The flame is lit. The flame of freedom is an important part of the really culture of the United States. We do need to recognize God is a spirit, and those that worship him in spirit and truth. Is kind of like a flame, can be that Holy Spirit right inside. So thanks for bringing in the Holy Spirit into our service today. Let's tune in now to, we normally have a good news section, and we had someone to lead that, but they're not here right now. So I just want to know if you have some good news. I want to just announce, okay, let's pass over to Aaron. Actually, Aaron, you can start if you have any
No,
good news.
you could do your announcement. You could do your announcement.
Well, my announcement is simply, I think the fact is we have a great news is that we have wonderful people doing wonderful things, and they're here today. And we've got every 2 weeks, we're going to be doing this call. So the very first one. So I think that's very good news. We're starting our first call. We're here every 2 weeks. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Okay, over to you, Aaron. What's some good news for today? If anybody's got any good news, let us know.
So I take one for the team and I monitor TikTok, right? So I have like 2,000 something followers. I spread information. I say fun things, right? So the TikTok community is like so on it with this like bridge collapsing, all the current news, all the current Q stuff. Like there's a huge rally of people and they do try to ban it and this and that. But the TikTok community has been like really, really, really going strong as far as how many of us really are that are awakened and know what our true power is and are becoming state nationals and popping out of the system. There's a huge movement right now to boycott Kellogg's. And then there's also a movement right now to boycott filing their taxes, like hundreds of thousands of people like making a dent. So I feel that coupled up with this solar eclipse that's coming up is really going to be a lot of energy coming out. So yay. And I feel that that's good, right? That means it's moving forward because we know that God already won, right? So that just means we're getting to move forward. And this is part of the stuff that's going to have to be done. And we get to just be here and like hold that love for everybody else that are probably going to lose their minds coming up. But yeah, it's good. There's a lot of awakened people is my good news.
Okay, that's some good news for sure. Anybody else want to offer a good one, at least one other thing? Who's got some good news?
Well, I just want to share about that solar eclipse. It's not like I know the Bible very well, but the book of Jonah, there's this town called Nineveh that he gets sent by God to tell them, I'm going to destroy them if they don't repent. And so even all the way down to the king, they cover themselves in sackcloth and ashes, and then several days go by, even the animals, and God spares the town. There's 25,000 people, The only thing is Jonah's then pissed off because God let them off. So Jonah's got some work to do. He needs some soul freedom technique from Rhonda. But what's really interesting about this solar eclipse is there are 7 cities in America where the solar eclipse is going to overlight, called Nineveh. And I really feel like there is light coming in with this solar eclipse. I think that there is like the yod, they call in astrology a finger of God. I feel like something's coming that's going to shake things up a little bit. There's just something very interesting about that biblical reference, the town of Nineveh. And so we'll see. I don't want to be in an epic mindset like this is the solar eclipse to change everything. This is the day, blah, blah, and then nothing happens, but I think something's going to happen, even if it's just a general like shaking of awakening of light coming into people's heart to, like Aaron said, people are getting sick and tired. They don't know where to go, but they know like, hey, I don't want to file these taxes anymore. Why should I? So if it wakes people up to some hope, here, and gets people into, I don't want to sound too Bible-ish, but repentance is like admitting you were wrong. And I was saying to Jeffrey before this call, I said there are 3 words that are the hardest thing on the earth at this point, I think, for some people. I was wrong. That's repentance, is admitting, hey, I was wrong. So that's my good news.
Thank you. Well, let's claim the victory. And wherever I need to get humble, let me get humble so I can do my part. And let's pass that over to Amanda. Amanda, some good news.
I actually am on the line where the center line where that the eclipse will be hitting in northern Ohio. So it will be going right through where I live, which I live on a ley line that hasn't been open since Atlantis. I was shown many years ago, letting my dog outside in the middle of the night. It's a beautiful golden tunnel of light. And you could fit a car in the largest one. It's horizontal ley line. And there was other ones that were smaller, about manhole size tunnels of light coming up out of the ground also was shown. And the property that I lived in. So, yeah.
All right. Well, big changes coming. Solar eclipses and lunar eclipses on the way. Let's pass that over to David.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of good things happening all across the United States. We just established 3 new committees of safety in northern Michigan. And we have a committee of safety here locally in Lorain, Ohio. And we're getting ready to take on the county commissioners, the health department, and the district advisory council. We're going to remove them from office because not one of them has a lawful oath of office, nor are they bonded. And therefore, they're in direct violation under the Republic to hold office, and that's impersonating a public official. So we're going to give them a choice, either resign or we will bring actions to have them removed from office. So those are some of the good things happening in my area.
Hey, well, we have more coming on the Committee of Safety today. There's two different people are going to talk a little bit about that. Those are interesting and we're learning more about and what that means. Also, I think we have Committee of Restitution. So we'll get to that pretty much next. If you do have good news in the future, just raise your hand, like, that little hand thing on Zoom, and then I'll say, oh, that you'll have some good news.
I just want to say congratulations, David. That's a palpable, result. And I can't help feeling like the boomerang's coming where we're like, you're impersonating a police officer. You've taken an oath, and yeah.
Yeah, all right now, all public officials across the land are impersonating a public official. There is no public official holding office right now that is lawful. Now, there's legal and there's lawful. Lawful is under the laws of God, the Constitution, and common law. Legal is their mumbo jumbo legalese, statutes and codes, ordinances, et cetera, but they have no lawful oath of office under the Republic. And what people have to understand, that the Republic came first. So first in time, first in line. So the corporatocracy of our government is failing because they have to comply to the corporation. I mean, I'm sorry, they have to comply to the Republic before they can set their goals or admirations or whatever under the corporation. And that's what they don't understand. And we, the people, are beginning to realize this, and now we're beginning to hold them accountable for their actions. Because when they don't have a lawful oath of office and they impose taxes that were not voted on by the people, this is treason under the 14th Amendment. It's just flat dab treason. So,
well, it is the consent of the governed.
That's right.
The government, any abilities to do what it's doing, the consent of the governed. So the consent is the key piece there. Thank you very much. And the lawfulness is also the key piece. So over to Darren. Good news from Darren before we move on.
Yeah, Michael. So thanks for doing this. This is just awesome to have this gathering here. But what's really awesome is the last 5 years I've done what I've called the rugged road trip. I spend 2 months driving across America visiting businesses that I've created. They're actually mattress stores all in every state in America. And so the last 5 years I've been driving to all across America. And the good news about what's happening in this little Zoom meeting that we're having right now is happening all over the place. This is I'm on like 5 or 6 of them a week, prayer calls and gatherings and groups, and from coast to coast. So I think it's just so exciting to see this movement of patriotism and God and just all the things that are happening. You don't get it on the mainstream or in you don't realize this swelling of what God's doing across this country and how big it is, and how many people he's waking up and moving. And it's just, I'm just so grateful and so excited that that I get to be part of this and be in this and see it. So anyway, thank you, Michael, for what you're doing. And it's cool to be part of this movement.
It's very cool. It's very, very cool. And it's a lot of fun. And that's the neat part. The Great Awakening is a lot of fun and it's filled with joy. And we don't have to focus on the bad stuff. Yeah, we know there's challenging stuff. So what's the solution? Well, that is not going to be challenging. The solution's good. Let's get into the good stuff, right? So that's good news. There is good news. It's a lot of good news. So, okay.
I have one more thing, because of United We Stand that we were doing locally up here in Shasta that, we're wanting to make more national now, and Mike Flynn over at General Flynn at Clay Clark, he said local action, national impact. And that, Michael and I went to a whole bunch of those in California and Texas and Florida. And, we thought, well, we've been to a bunch of these, we've heard the problems, we've heard the speakers, we can't really take in any more of this information. We know the problem. What can we do? And so we had some little chapters that came out, little groups that came out of that financial group. And one of them was Prayers for America. And for the last 6 months at 9:15 every day of Monday through Friday, there is Prayers for America, and it's run by a couple who essentially, are more of the Bible persuasion. But, what I'm seeing here is that, to start your day in prayer for America, even if it's 17 minutes it's supposed to go for, and we read something from scripture, we say the prayers, we make the calls, in the name of, we command that things be changed with the authority of the great Almighty behind us. And we read the Liberties Mantra and Americans Creed, and we sometimes sing God Bless America. And I'm just seeing in this gathering, that Michael and I have seen that we want to make it more national, where you call in, and maybe not everybody's going to be able to share because it's more, but if it's something on your heart, that you just pray to it. And you know, it starts my day really well when I do that. I feel like no matter how I get up, I've made a prayer. We hang the flag outside, you know, it's out there flying. And you know, we've made some calls, what we call calls. They're not just like, oh, please help us, God, but they're in the name of, you know, the Holy Christ and Jesus Christ and the great I am, that we make these prayers that we call a judgment on these situations. And I think that's good news, because I think that that really works. And the more people we get doing that every day, the better.
It's coming our way. It's called Pray America. It's very cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're all going to get into it. And it's not just one time. It's going to be all day, every day, 24 hours a day of prayers for America. So maybe you'll get a time slot you want to commit to at least once a week. I don't care if it's once a month, but you know, maybe it's every day. And then whatever it is, as long as you're there for that 17 minutes slot, please do it. We need it. So anyway, that's coming up. So Anna, one more time. Okay. I mean, we'll just play it by ear how this thing's going to roll, but over to you, Anna. We do have one more. I'll say, we've got one more good news. Let's do the good news from Anna. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me and see me? I can't see myself.
You look really like clear and you sound great.
Perfect. Okay, good. So I initially raised my hand because I wanted to share the good news is the left has played their hand too hard and people are really coming to terms and figuring things out. But then as everybody shared, I just want to say ditto, 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 ditto. And not that I wanted my wins to be a plug, but God shared on my heart. Michael, we've been talking, Miles, we got to talk this week. Like God is putting people into the right places and into position. And when the Flame first started, we had a subscription for 3 papers. And we took that off probably about a year ago because the cost was too high. And God put on my heart this week 3 papers. And the reason 3 papers is we are 3 people away from everyone in our community. And so when we talk about people gathering and people coming together, I just want to share that there is a way with paper to be able to share all of this information, write articles, share information. And if every single person that we come in contact with, we share the 333, we can make massive impact. And with that, it is subscribing to 3 papers a month and getting those 3 papers out to 3 people in your community and telling those 3 people, please subscribe to 3 papers. And all of us who gather when we're writing and we're getting that information out and we're also sharing in our community, they can't stop us. And so again, I didn't want it to be a plug, but as the time went on, I'm like, no, that 3 was given to me this week for a reason. And Michael, I actually meant to call you to talk about that on how we can like make that a campaign. So thank you for everything you're doing. And I will let somebody else have time.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to move on to the next section, theflameusa.com. Buy your papers, distribute, buy 100 papers if you want, give them around, but 3 is good. And you can subscribe. I'm writing a story, you know, it's going to be by far the best paper in the nation. No question about it. The truth is there is no other paper that I'm aware of. And I read papers, I read the Epoch Times. There is no other paper I'm aware of that is actually totally clear. There's definitely a lot of weird, you know, this, that, and the other. So we were creating a paper that's clear, and it's really about opening our heart to the truth, not the mind to like mentalize everything for the rest of eternity, but actually to get into the real spirit here. So, and the truth, you know, what is the truth? So I want to show this. Joel mentioned, I don't know why it's my back screen. Anyway, okay. So Joel mentioned, I got this book here. This is General Flynn's new book. He wrote it with this other guy. We're going to have him on here, or I don't even know, something like Boone, but General Flynn's on a tour for a movie about him. But here's what he wrote in the back of the book. Now, General Flynn, it was like the highest ranking military officer in the country, as far as I know, for a minute or two, like for a little bit before they, you know, he had a big court case and all that. But he was the highest military officer in the nation pretty much. And here's what he wrote, because he's kind of like the people's general. So to me, what he wrote isn't just to me. And in my little book here, I said, write something meaningful. I believe it's orders from the general. okay, of America, and not the general on the outer, but the inner general. And here's what it means. Here's what it says. It says, that's General Flynn right there, signature. Mike, it's the first time I met him. Here's what he wrote. He said, stand up, step up, speak up. Knowledge is power, ... But only if you use it, right? So that's it. General Flynn, that's important words right there. And I think I took them to my heart. I said, okay, it's time. Stand up, step up, speak up. It's time. Period. If we're not doing it now, what are we waiting for? Really, what are we waiting for? So now is a good time to stand up, step up, and speak up. Thank you, General Flynn. Okay, let's pass it over to I've asked Catherine today to lead us in some really cool stuff around what she's been doing. Because this is part of our constitutional study. We want to have a constitutional study that's a lot of fun every week. And so, Catherine, you're leading this section. We're going to keep our sections we're leading today to a short amount of time so we can get through them all. But I mean, they're all awesome. So over to you, Catherine, and let us know too, the committee of, you don't have a committee of safety, you have a committee of restoration. How many years have you been doing that? You meet in person only. And what are they all about? What are you doing over there?
Okay, so we modeled our committee after the committees of safety, which were pre-American Revolution structure, and I'd love to talk to David too. They're the embodiment of the people of our county, but they were meant to be a way to organize the body politic and communicate primarily, and then to handle things. So there was the Committee of Correspondence, the Committee of Safety, and the Committees of Inspection in between. Those were the general ones. And so we decided to call ours the Committee of Restoration. And what we aim to do is to restore constitutional compliance. And we're focusing local and on our county level. But we have a long way to go. We just happen to be in a part of the country that is particularly challenging, and in a county that's even more challenging. Just this last year, the grand jury of the county essentially said that the Board of Supervisors has a loose relationship with ethics, which, coming out of just like a county grand jury that's pretty much controlled by the DA and the judges, not the DA, just the judges. It's pretty much chosen by the judges of the county, which is kind of a ridiculous concept. But they still had some very harsh things to say about the Board of Supervisors, and essentially pointing out the large amount of corruption that goes on in our county. And plus our sheriff was selected. There was actually documented evidence of voter fraud. So the sheriff we have now versus the sheriff we had before is really far gone. So our primary goal right now really is to build a fully informed citizenry, which means that those are people that understand their fundamental rights and they know how to assert them. If you don't have them, if you don't know how to assert them, you don't have them. And a lot of the reason we're in the mess we're in now is because of our ignorance. So our primary goal really is to do that. And then we've done some really awesome things as a result of the pandemic really provided some fuel for people getting off their wets and getting involved. So we were able to stop the county's push to have all county workers jabbed or they would lose their job. We stopped that, and they still implemented testing, but at least you didn't lose your job if you didn't get a toxic poison dart. We stopped masking. They tried to implement masking again in Alameda County after the whole entire country had dropped it. Even Governor Newsom dropped it, and Alameda County tried to implement it again in the summer of 2022. And we put together, 5 to 10 pages. It was a long document of whereas statements that showed fraud, lack of science, evidence of injury, laws that prevented them from doing what they're doing, and we got it on the record. And 2 weeks later, our health officer came out sort of with his head down and a little embarrassed, saying he was going to back off and take it off. So we stopped the city of San Leandro from putting in a proof of vaccination ordinance. We pretty much notified the mayor that if she tried to do it, she would be held personally liable for trying to create an ordinance that isn't a law. Since when can you put a law and force people to take a toxic dart? I just don't get it. So we've had a lot of fun doing that. And, you know, we continue to work on our main committees are oversight, education, and resilience right now. But we do hold out two subcommittees called accountability and consequences, because at some point when you get enough of your citizenry organized, you can do what David's suggesting, which is go and remove them. Now, we don't suggest that for counties that don't have enough infrastructure, which we consider the committee to be infrastructure. You need more people. This is not an alone. This is not 100 people. If you need at least 1 to 3% of your county to do something like that, because we're up against some pretty bad people. And, you know, they don't have our best interests in mind. In fact, I think they've wholesale abandoned us, and it's pretty obvious that they don't work for us. You know, it's an organized crime syndicate at this point. No amount of voting, no amount of, you know, trying, you know, this and that. We're not in regular times. So we're just taking it step by step. So, and I know it's an emergency, right? But, you know, also we just can't, it's not an alone, it's just not a solo journey. So sorry, Michael, I need a new question. I don't know if
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I'm just kind of seeing where you're going to go. So, but I did want to just really clear up one quick thing up, which is that you got 2 different types of education you're really focused on. One is the Constitution. What are the rights? How does it work? Right.
Yeah.
And the second one is how to speak up at meetings, how to stand up, how to say something professionally and make a difference and put the word in that needs to be word. So those are the 2 items you focused on. Where did you learn to start this? A committee of safety. Jeff's going to talk a little more about committee of safety today. Some of them in California. We have a new segment called Cali Free. It's like a show. Jeff and I are going to be producing it. I'm really looking forward to I'm going to be producing. It's a really exciting show. So California is a beautiful state, by the way. It gets a very bad rap on the you know, the blogs and stuff, because we're like, oh, they call me Formia, whatever. Well, they have a challenging government, but it's a beautiful state with a lot of beautiful people. So but anyway, where did you get the information, how you want to run this stuff? How did you learn about it?
Yeah, I would say thank you to everyone who is from California here doing this, because we're on the Western Front. If we go, it's not long before the rest of the United States goes. It's, you know, it's a ground war, and we have to be here locally doing what we can. And I don't ever advise people leave California. I'm like, stay and fight. There's nowhere else to run. I mean, you may run to these middle states, but the agenda is everywhere. So, I'm sorry, what was your?
Just like really brief.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to start a committee of safety,
Oh,
like how do
we get the information?
Where did
Okay.
you mainly get your information from?
We got the initial idea from National Liberty Alliance. They have a handbook, and they've been doing it for a long time. They have lots of different, you know, they have a ton of constitutional education and content on their website. So we just took it from that.
Okay. So National Liberty Alliance Committee of Safety is a very interesting thing. One thing that came to me, I think yesterday, which I'm really excited about actually, is that we the people, this is one nation under God, and it's about we the people, and it's about the will of the people and the consent of the governed. But it is not actually just a democracy. It's a republic. So God has a similar setup, I believe, to the idea that a republic's not about it's everyone to vote counts equally. If so many people aren't even thinking for themselves, Their votes don't count that high with God. It's when we think with integrity as a real citizen of this great nation. As the founding fathers were not that many, and there was a small percentage that actually fought for the freedom, liberty in the beginning. And now it doesn't take a huge army of people. It takes the right people standing up, starting a small committee of safety, getting things rolling. We, the people, represent the will, and therefore God, the what God is, all the archangels, the beautiful kingdoms of heaven, can interfere and help us when we call for help, when we demand it. We say, no, this land is the land of the free, the home of the brave. It's not the land of the globalists. It's not the land of the billionaires. It's not the land of the money changers. This is the land where Christ can come home inside our heart. This is the great awakening, and the kingdom of heaven is within us. It's here and now. We don't need hundreds of millions to say yes right now. We need the right amount, which is you. Whoever's watching, you're the right amount. You can make a difference in your county, your city, this whole nation, and this world. It's a very important time right now. So thanks for stepping up, Catherine, with your people and holding the fort. You've been doing it from before this thing, the pandemic happened. You were also, California held these ridiculous laws trying to inoculate children with 80 some or 70 plus vaccines by the time they're 16. Insanity, forcing them to get it when they're babies, like they're farm animals, doing terrible water management, bankrupting the economy of the richest tax base in the nation, the fifth, biggest economy in the world of all nations in California. And they just can't, building trains that go to nowhere, ridiculous things happening here, votes that are just like throwing it in the toilet. It's ridiculous. Okay. So we have great people here, lovely people, really good people. We just need some good leadership. That's all we really need. So thank you very much, Catherine. Appreciate your leadership. Let's pass that over to Jeffrey. Do you want to offer some stuff today about, Jeffrey's working with many of these different groups locally in Northern California. Let us know what's going on in Northern California and the communities of safety. Jeffrey.
Michael, thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you, Catherine. I'm personally acquainted with Catherine, and she was much of the inspiration which led me to pursue the committees of safety. Actually, she connected me with the people who were starting the Solano County Committee of Safety a couple of years ago. And in that time, they've done considerable development, and we have really a very strong core of 25 people that show up every week, that do the work. And we have a constitutional discussion group, which is kind of like how we recruit people. So I learned about the committees of safety after really watching a lot of these citizens' liberty groups pop up and then kind of die out after, a certain purpose was met or things change and the organization no longer could really hold that shifting purpose. And committees of safety allows that structure to be flexible. So you have, your general committee, and then you have subcommittees, as Catherine was talking about. Each subcommittee is dedicated to a specific purpose.
Jeffrey, quickly, is it possible to set your phone down so it's not moving?
Oh, yes.
If you need a sec, I think Amanda wanted to say, do you need a sec or you got it right away? Okay, great. Let's go back to you. All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So now what I'm engaged in is trying to spread the idea, and I'm finding it's catching fire, with the groups that have kind of petered out. A week ago, we had a call and there was 11 counties represented on that call of people that were interested in starting committees of safety in California. So we think it's an idea whose time has come, and committees of safety are essentially, the citizens' way of organizing into a legitimate governing body. And, we are chartered. We have a charter. That charter has been logged at the local recorder, the county recorder, not registered, and it's not a corporation of any kind. It's just a citizens committee. And the idea goes all the way back to 1692 in America. So this is pre-Revolutionary War, and citizens organized in order to lawfully challenge the corrupt governors that were ruling at that time in America. And that tradition continued throughout the American Revolution. So this is what we're doing, and as steps progress and we build our numbers, we are enabled to do things like convene grand juries, a lawful grand jury, a committee of citizens who brings information and charges potentially against elected officials, and then barring the sheriff's involvement, then we organize a militia to enforce the will of the people in a government that's gone out of control. So we want to do this lawfully, and we have to do it step by step. But this is what we're pursuing: is we are exhausting all forms of lawful redress, of everything from elections to, every kind of intrusion that the state wants to create or obstruction that they create for us exercising our natural rights.
Okay. And if someone wants to start a committee of safety, where would you suggest they go?
As Catherine said, the National Liberty Alliance, which has been around since 2011, and it is a wealth of information on that website, nla.org. And they have everything from handbooks to start committees of safety to a ton of educational material, emergency action plans. It's really very, very good. And there's another organization, the American Committees Association, ACA, and they are out of Utah. And they also have a couple really good handbooks and step-by-steps for how to create one in your own county. So really the focus of it is at the county level, because that's where we really have the most power. And to do this kind of on a very wide scale. So hopefully throughout California, every county, and in America. So really grateful for the work everyone's doing in these fields.
That's right. And your committee of safety, I've been to one of their meetings. It's a beautiful, like, shared work center that they've got someone like them. They get a good deal in there, and a really nice place. And then they meet once a week. So it's once a week for a couple hours, I believe. And then there's people do their homework. It's one way to put it, but you have activities, you have stuff to submit every week, and you all are part of committees. So it's really for people that don't just want to go listen to someone talk. They actually want to do something. So that's what committee safety I found are good for. They help activate the participants, so they're actually participating and doing something good to be of service. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. And a big part of this is that there is no one leader. It's not about one leader running everything. It's about everybody has responsibility. So we have a general committee and we have a chairman, but that person does not run every meeting. Okay, so each subcommittee has a chairman. I'm a chairman of the subcommittee of correspondence. And so it's really just about everyone stepping up into their leadership, finding like the thing that you want to do, and organizing and being part of something bigger where we all work together. And that's really what it is. So
I love it. And it feels almost like the people that are guided, it's kind of like higher power guided. It's just the right people at the right time. It doesn't have to be everybody. It's the right people at the right time. So that's you. It's whoever that is you. It's me. It's whoever's choosing to be. And then thank you, Jeffrey, for wonderful communication. Thank you, Catherine. I want to give David Roberts just like less than a minute or so, because we do have other sections to move on to, but I know there's a big field of yours as well. But maximum of law, if you do not express your rights, then you do not have any rights. We'll pass over to David Roberts. Just what is your vision on the committees of safety? Sounds like you're working with some as well.
Well, one of the things I want to add, which under the Constitution, under the Bill of Rights, under Article 1 or the Amendment 1, we have the right to form an assembly. On Amendment 7, we have the right to a common law grand jury of 25, and that the enforcement or power of your assembly comes from the common law grand jury. And that's a segment that when you stand up as a de jure committee of safety and you move forward with your common law grand jury, and you have checked off all the boxes, such as a social compact, that you have to have a social compact in place to protect you against the Buck Act of 1950. But you get those instruments in place, and you then move forward with a common law grand jury. De facto, that's the current government's in place. That's an enemy that has infiltrated the government and instilled their laws. And when they discover that you are a de jure lawful assembly, and you're ready to step up into government positions, they get real nervous and they scatter. We've witnessed this in several places like Louisiana and up here in Ohio, and so it's nice, it's heartfelt, and God's leading this charge. He's definitely in the driver's seat of all this.
Excellent. That's good news as well. I mean, for some reason, what just came to mind to me is Prince Andrew. He's a big guy in the royal family. He's been exposed as someone who's participated in pedophilic activities with children, you know, young people. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law, and nobody's above the law. So the law isn't just the outer law of whatever the government does that is not constitutional, or the court system, but it's actually the constitutional law. So we all take oaths to the Constitution when you get a public position. All of us have accountability to that law, which is actually God's law for the land, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the freedoms in the first 10 Bill of Rights. So, you know, it's good to exercise those rights. Thank you very much for doing your part and trusting your divine inspiration. And for some people, they're like, oh, just a few people doing a little thing. But in reality, that's exactly what's needed. Exactly. So thanks for doing what's needed. We need to hold ourselves accountable, and thereby everyone else we meet as well, to some extent or another, especially those who are in charge of things and putting themselves above others. Okay, so I really appreciated the Committee of Safety today. Is anybody else seen one other person share something they've enjoyed about the Committee of Safety part of this talk tonight?
You only need 3 to 5 people to start, and you build it up to 30 people, so you have a common law grand jury. And again, that's the Bill of Rights, the First and the Seventh Amendment you're operating under. And also, you mentioned the other 3 documents, but the Articles of Confederation, we want all the rights of the Articles of Confederation. That is our social compact for the people. And like Dave said, we do need a social compact in every county and state. And that basically explains in that social compact who the people are, what the people want, and you know, your elections, how you want them ran. Do you want 5G in your town? Everything you want is in that social compact. And if you don't have a compact, you don't have really anything. It says it in a lot of our state constitutions, we have to compact or we don't have nothing. They got us out in admiralty law. They got us as corporate entities and fictitious entities and as strawmans in the all caps name. So we got to get out of that, and that's the way we could do it. And yeah.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Okay, grateful team. Let's tune into some. We're gonna move on to something else now. I want to show my shirt because I haven't shown it yet. But it says, "In God We Trust," and it's got the shield. And you know, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the first Bill of Rights, really, to me, we got to know what that is. But that is the shield, really. And we all have that shield. And if we know our rights, that's our shield, because those rights are guaranteed in the United States of America, which is one nation under God. So we're going to pass this over now to Sheila, who knows we have these rights and is standing up for children's rights and has been doing so for many years. So ablechild.org, I believe. Sheila, please tell us more about what you're doing. And then we want to learn more about today, because we're not going to have you're doing a lot of wonderful things. We're going to learn about the Hatch Act and how parents can use that to excuse their children from the kind of weirdo mind control stuff that's going into the school board curriculums through the international government's interference at a local level. So over to you, Sheila.
Well, first of all, I have learned so much this evening, and I really appreciate being included in this forum. It's really interesting because I work a lot in different states at the legislative level. Running a nonprofit, I have about 10% of my time that I'm allowed to work on different legislative pieces. I'm not a lobbyist, but and so listening to all the Constitution, it's really mind-boggling the way they have overtaken every part of our government. And so what Able Child does is we focus on informed consent. And, what I'm hearing throughout this talk tonight is about consent, the consent of the people. So Able Child's informed consent focuses on making sure you have all the information regarding my issue, which is psychiatric drugs. So in schools today, they're doing these checklists, and based off these checklists, they're basically diagnosing you with a mental illness. And it's very scary because there's no blood tests, there's no brain scans, there's no evidence to actually say that you have ADHD. Basically, my phone is, I'm so sorry, it's almost out of battery here. Hold on. Just one second.
Happens to me all the time. I know what you mean. Okay.
I was like, oh my goodness. So basically, Able Child's mission is informed consent. So what we want to do is educate parents on a really important tool that, oh, there we go. Thank God for the battery here. There we go. And so we want to educate people on the Hatch Amendment. What the Hatch Amendment does, it kind of bypasses, like when I think of Jesus Christ and I think of God and sovereignty and believing in miracles, I think of this Hatch Amendment because there's a lot of, it's either black or white in my world in this issue. It's either it's godly or it's from a different place. And attention deficit disorder has, it just focuses on children's deficits. So they're never getting out of this cycle of this label. So the Hatch Amendment gives you the ability to file this letter in your child's record, which basically says, I don't want to be involved in any of these programs that affect or are against my moral family values. So any kind of talk about sexual matters and or psychological matters or even religious matters, that you can abstain from it. So you put this Hatch Amendment, it's a very friendly letter, and it's like, dear school, according to the federal law, and there's I believe a federal law in there that says I don't want to participate in this, so I am opting out. And so what we are currently in is in a system that you're already in it. It's called you're opt-in. Okay, so you don't have a choice. Okay, so parents don't realize that the way the federal law is that you're in it. It's called you're opt-in. So basically this Hatch Amendment is saying, I'm opting out. So it's a letter that you say, I'm opting out of this. So parents need to be educated on this Hatch Amendment, because then you file it and your child does not have to participate, and the school is made aware of it in a very friendly manner. And so they can't do any of these psychological checklists or anything. So once you file that letter in your child's folder, the school then has to make other arrangements for your child during that crazy sexual talk that you really don't agree with. And so this is a very powerful tool that parents don't know about. And tonight, listening to everybody sharing your powerful work, it just really reminds me of the Hatch Amendment, because we're not told about these things. We're not told about all our rights that are being trampled on. So I was recently on the Flame podcast, and I'm so blessed to be a part of this group, because I really feel like Able Child has a focus on the assets of a child versus deficits. So that's really our mission. And, being in the, just coming back from Tennessee and watching the way the lobbyists that are tied to these corporations that are really forcing all these laws in, it's important that we have groups like yours. So I'm very honored to be here. I could tell you that Able Child's been working on this for over 23 years. And we've had some really great wins. They used to pick you out, believe it or not, if you weren't put on certain psychiatric drugs, like with my partner and why we founded Able Child, you weren't allowed to attend school. So they being the government, is in bed with these companies, and our children are their products. They want consumers from birth to death. And Able Child's mission is to take back the identity of the child. We believe that these psychological labels have stolen the identity of the gifted and creative child. And we have the records. I've done a deep dive. Like tonight, I'm listening to your intelligent sections of how you guys have taken a deep dive into history. And that's what Able Child has done. And we have evidence to prove that these children are actually gifted and creative. And so we are looking to present the evidence in a court of law and anywhere we can. So we're grateful to be included in this powerful initial pilot, because I believe that your voices are going to be like a bell. You cannot unring it. And so that is our mission here at Able Child. We want to ring the bell of freedom. We do not want our children labeled and drugged. And these drugs are very dangerous, and we don't want the mind control. We want to be in creativity. So that is what we do. And we stand ready to help each and every one of you understand our mission. And it really goes to this public safety committees. And, so we stand ready to help you.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Able Child. We are able. For some reason, I'm just going to put this up one more time. I think it's so important, from General Flynn, because these are marching orders. It says stand up, speak up, and step up. And right now we're learning, and we have to use what we're learning. So stand up, speak up, and step up. We're writing an article for the Flame USA. I'm writing, it's going to be, and we have a lot of contributions for that. Some of you who are at the podcasting conference specifically, because that's what it's about for that particular subject. What does it mean to stand up, step up, and speak up? So we have a lot of different ways we're doing that. You've been doing that for 20 some years, Sheila. And I think it's true that usually where we see the pain point is where we start to be the solution. That's a great place to start. Where do we see the corruption that's affecting us? That's okay. It can be totally personal. Let's focus on that, because it's affecting other people for sure as well. And some of us have the big vision, you see a lot of different things affecting us. Some of us, very specific things. We all have a different focus. So the children is the future of humanity. It's the future of the nation, and if we don't protect them, we are not stewards. We are not being good stewards. Is it okay that pharmaceutical companies continuously mRNA this, mRNA that, changing the biological identity of our children from the day they're born, injecting them, slapping them, injecting them, putting this cold environment? No, it's not okay. It's not done with love. It's not done with care. It's not done with understandings. And these big corporations, their day's over, in terms of them trying to manipulate humanity. If they're not serving the birth of the inner child, the birth of Christ in humanity, they're not serving, and then they need to go. But they have every corporation has a choice too. The people running it, do they want to serve the higher power or the lower power? The lower power is going. Let's serve the higher power. The people want abundance. You want abundance? Stop serving the dark energy. It's a suck hole. You're gonna get sucked into it. Not you, anybody here, but if we're gonna get sucked into it, if we serve the dark energy, we serve the light, and the light will multiply. And the light's got a new message for all of us. So thank you for grateful work you're doing, Sheila. Does anybody else want to comment on Able Child or anything on the Hatch Act, anything like that? By the way, first off, actually, let's go back, Sheila. Where does someone find the Hatch Act? Where do they find this form they can give to the school board?
Well, I just put on ablechild.org. We were asked about that on the Flame podcast. And so we wrote a little article. It is right on the front page of our website, which is global, really, but we started out nationally, but it's happening around the world. Ablechild.org, you can find the Hatch Amendment. There's a letter that you can download, and it's really easy to do. And it's really kind of going down the very middle where you do not fight, you just take your power back. And so it's ablechild.org. And you can see all our writings there and the work we've been doing. And we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay, great. So someone could probably reach you on the website through email or your contacts there. The Hatch Act's right there, the letter. I'd like to see it in action. That sounds great. Let's get testimonials on there of how it's working for people. And, that's really important stuff, because this might be an out for a lot of this stuff. And plus, if the kids start to separate themselves and the parents start to, then the school board says, wait, we can't keep teaching these things if no one's going to go to them. But no one should be going to them. They're nothing to do. They're really not about America. They're not about freedom. They're not about reality. So a lot of this stuff.
May I?
Yeah.
What we need to get together, and a committee of safety is a good vehicle for this, but we need to be going into the school boards, and we, collect their oaths of office and their bonds, and we need to tell them either they comply to the Constitution, the laws of the land, or we're removing them. Remove them from office, not play patty cake with them and say, well, if you do this, we'll do that. No, you're violating the laws of the land, and you need to go. And that's all. There's no middle ground here. They've been messing around way too long, and they've been violating the people. They haven't made any consideration for what we want, and we the people, as you said earlier, under the consent of the governed, all men are created equal, and we all have unalienable rights, and that's all we have is unalienable rights, and it needs to be enforced, and we are the people that's going to enforce those rights. So I rest.
Okay, and Sheila, I need to know, because not everyone listening, a lot of maybe everyone listening, but maybe not everyone out there knows that their children are being corrupted at a school level. They don't understand yet. They're watching the news. The news keeps programming the mind to say this is normal. No, it's not normal. But tell me some things that are not normal. Tell me some specifics here of what we're going to stop these. What's one specific thing that's just kind of important that we need that this.
With this Hatch Amendment, or in general with children at the school level?
Yeah, what are they teaching? Just to know, what's going on at the school level that's wrong. I mean, what's going on?
Okay, well, for our issue is the behavioral checklists, where they are telling your child that they're calling you in, and parents can relate to this. They're called in and they say your child's misbehaving, and they focus all the attention on the behavior that they don't want, but yet the child's assets are not being taken into consideration. So that's the focus of re-educating them and taking our power back. The other thing is, a lot of these, which is not our issue, is the sexual content. A lot of people have been coming to us and saying, how do we stop this? Can you speak out about this? And that Hatch Amendment would really basically say that you're not participating, that your child cannot participate, and you have to be contacted before any of this really bizarre, like re-identifying men and women. And no, there's a man and a woman, and that's that's the way we've been created. So if we don't want our children to be re-educated by the government, so you have a right to opt out of that, but you need to know you have a right to opt out. And so, like you were saying, if there's a door that says ADHD, and that's going to be all elective classes of like sexual stuff or, you know, behavior modification, or there's a door that says able child, you get a choice. And if the classroom's empty because everybody's opted out of it, then it's going to be obvious. But we need to give this tool to the parents to do that. So there's a lot of things. I mean, our schools are now becoming mental institutions. I mean, that's what's happening. So we have no more tools in there to teach children how to read and write. And so that's what I see. That's what parents come to our organization. They're saying, you know, what do I do? Because the school is telling me to put my child on these mind-altering drugs. And so that's what we encourage them to do, is to file this form. Is it going to solve? Do I think that all the board members need to be removed that are doing this, that are wrongfully doing this? Absolutely. I mean, I'm fighting in there every day on different laws and a lot of different things. But I'm focusing on one tool that I really believe your listeners could utilize to step into the light and out of the darkness immediately. Because what we're doing and what you guys are doing in all these committees takes time. But right now our children are in the dark, and we need to turn on a light for them. And I believe this is the Hatch Amendment.
Okay, well, let's learn more about it. Everybody study a little Hatch Amendment, get the word out. It's time to separate from the dross. In California, there's been court cases where the teachers are trying to tell the kids not to tell the parents. I mean, there's actual laws to try to make it so the kids don't have to tell the parents about their regender identification at school. And it's not necessarily the teachers that are involved, but possibly the counselors who are being taught by the system that this is the way things are supposed to be now. And the kids are going to be turning men or women and maybe get even gender re-identification. Physiologically, the parents aren't allowed, or if they don't call them by the right gender pronoun, they could go to jail, the parents, or they could take the kids away and put them in child safety, which has a lot of sexual abuse and child trafficking stuff that's gone on in that regard. It's totally ridiculous. It has nothing to do with America. It has nothing to do with freedom. Children are meant to be brought up by their parents, not by a corrupt system where there's sexual abuse and trauma taking place. That is abhorrent to the human soul. It's disgusting. And we have to put a stop to it and allow the parents to get re-educated, how we can actually take care of our children, have responsible school decisions and solutions that do not involve giving them 70 plus shots, no matter what, just to go to school, to get an education so they can live a life. It's unbelievable. Who are these pharmaceutical companies? How did they get into this nation to such a high degree where they watch their TV and they tell us, yeah, you need these shots. You walk in the drugstore, you need these shots. You need these shots on the billboards. We're waking up. We don't need the stinking shots. Okay, we're not born with I think Mark Sherwood, he says this thing, he's like, you're not born with vaccine deficiency syndrome. You're not born with vaccine deficiency syndrome. So let's stop pretending that we are. It's ridiculous. Okay, that's my I get a little emotional for a little, but anyway, I just kidding. But I appreciate that. Now let's pass it over to Anna. Anna, you got something?
Before you share, Anna, I just have a question for Sheila and David. Is that, yeah, I know going to school board meetings, we've been to them. It's just a huge commitment. The one time that we did show up in force, the guy soon after resigned, actually, because Michael went up to him and said, you know, this whole thing that you just did, you just put this person in that you wanted instead of the good guy that we were there to support. he said, this is a farce. And he said, are you, you better stop going down this road. And the guy said, are you threatening me? And he said, I'm not threatening you, but you're going to be answering to a much higher justice if you keep doing this to the kids. The guy resigned soon after that. So it does help to show up in numbers. My question is, who is diagnosing children to be put on drugs in schools? Are they doctors? Are they psychiatrists?
Yes.
Are they breaking an oath because they haven't been to a therapist with consent? I mean, hello, can we just go in there and say, guys, when were you made into doctors? Who made you doctors? You're teachers.
Well, they're breaking the law. And they're creating, like you were saying, they're creating all these laws, these bizarre laws. But again, the fundamental thing is, if you know that you can opt out, they can pass all these crazy laws all they want. You have a document that says, I'm out of this.
Wow.
So, that document protects you, and you go back to that document and you say, no, I filed this, I opted out. So that's the whole point. They want to make us chase cars all over the place. And my research over the last 20 years basically says, let them chase as many cars as possible, but you take your power back and you get out of the program from the beginning. That's my spot.
Thank you. Yeah, this is important technology. Let's learn more about it. Let's tune in with it. And I'm passing it over to.
Well, one more thing. I don't want to be a bummer here, but it's great to be on preaching to the choir. Like we're all of the same mind here. And I feel like I preach to the choir a lot because the only people listening to me are the choir that are already convinced that we're under tyranny. We're weary. How do you deal with the average person who I no longer call names, the sheeple and all that? How do you put all of this, like a huge amount of work, onto the average parent who just wants to get on with their life, who doesn't want to fight anything? Okay,
Can I speak on that? So I think that's part of the problem, is that, David's talking about how we have these constitutional rights, right? We absolutely know we have constitutional rights, but we also have.
Whoa. I got to correct. You guys keep saying this.
Hold on. We also have a corrupt system, and purposely our constitutional rights are being trampled on. So with the Hatch Amendment, what Sheila is saying is our kids are automatically opted into all of these programs, and parents have to be aware of every single thing that's being told to them. There's no way possible to do that unless a parent is sitting in the classroom with them 24/7, right? So the Hatch Amendment allows parents to opt out. So instead, or to opt out of everything. So instead of them having to figure out what's being told to their student, the school district is not allowed to even teach it. Okay. I know in the last 3 years, I can tell you hundreds of people sitting in school boards, fighting the school boards, going to school board meetings, and we're getting nowhere. However, just like everybody's talking about, it's about numbers, right? So if every parent who is concerned fills out a Hatch Amendment, and the classrooms are no longer filled because they're having to choose other curriculum for these students, then the school board is going to automatically make bigger differences, right? Because nobody's participating. So it is the easiest, fastest way. When you think about the time it takes to get to a school board meeting, okay, you're committing what, three hours in that session to be there? And how many times over and over and over again to try to get some action? Yet the Hatch Amendment takes you 10 minutes to fill out and put into your school system. And then notify every parent that and have them fill it out because they're concerned. Because for me, I know that 99% of the people I talk to are just as concerned as I am. So if I'm telling them to fill out a hatch form, then they're going to fill it out.
Okay. So I know we're going to go to Noel. Quick thing. So Anna, can we get the Hatch Amendment printed out as a letter that someone could like cut out of the paper?
We're so Sheila is writing an article for sure.
It's already up there. It's already up there. So you go to ablechild.org and it's the first article that says Get Hatched. It's a campaign. It's a PDF, and all you have to do is print it out.
I like to see it in a newspaper too, just so people in the newspaper can read it. They'd be like, "Oh, I just signed. Here, cut out the newspaper, and then let's pass the newspapers out. Here, you got the Hatch Amendment. Pass that in. You know, go into websites.
I do quickly want to say to David, our constitutional rights are our number one thing, and yet we have. The thing is that we are working against a superpower, and we have to get small wins. And when we start getting those small wins, it makes all the difference. So I'm not discrediting. Believe I am the biggest patriot you will ever know, and I believe in my rights.
Okay, I want to correct the record. You guys gotta get this straight. You have no constitutional rights. Understand, you have no constitutional rights. You have no Bill of Rights. You only have unalienable rights. Now, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights are to protect your unalienable rights against the government's tyranny.
Oh, interesting.
Okay? So none of you stop. Please stop. You drive me crazy when you guys do this. You have no constitutional rights. You have no civil rights.
Amen.
You have no Bill of Rights. You only have God-given unalienable rights.
Amen.
And so the Constitution and the government under the Constitution is there to protect our unalienable rights. They're there to enumerate them and say, hey, that's not even all of them. It's the pursuit of happiness. It's your freedom to express your unique divine gifts.
The Ninth Amendment is your enumerated rights, which is all your rights. Now, I ask people in presentations, I go, how many rights do you have? And they go, well, I don't know, da-da-da. You have all rights. You know how many rights the government has? 17. 17 enumerated rights. And guess what? One of those is not public safety. And they use that all the time. Well, under public safety, we have the right to do this and do that. No, you have 17 enumerated rights under the federal Constitution, and public safety is not one of them.
Okay, so we got about 10 more minutes. And I just want to, we're going to go right to Noel, but I did want to stop with a word from one of our sponsors today. So one of our sponsors is beloved Jesus Christ. 2000 years ago, he died, and he showed us there is no death. He's still here now today. He didn't disappear. He's here. He's inside. We can hear his voice right now. And one of the things he said that we have a record of 2000, a long years ago, was he said that, well, my mind just took the blank actually, but I'll go back to this one. I had another thing, but I'll just go back to this one. Those who seek to save their lives will lose them, and those who seek to lose their lives for my sake will save them. So that's what it was. I'm glad I remembered it, because safety, be safe. Wear the mask. Don't get near me. I'm riding my bike. Oh, asshole. He's not wearing a mask, riding his bike. Are you crazy? Come on. Safety is the death conscious. Oh, safe. Everyone hide. And we're barely moving. We're barely living. We're here to live. We're here to be free. We're here to be sovereign. We're here to live fully for God, for the divine inspiration for our conscience. So those who seek to save their lives will lose them. Let's stop with this safety society where men are no longer men and women are not. We're just not even working as a society. We got to get past it. We got to get into living like the founders chose to live. They weren't perfect by any means, and we aren't either, but we're here to be more. And so let's live free, because that's why we're here. Thank you. Okay, that's the word from our sponsor. Over to Noel.
Does anyone notice that my husband is kind of like Clay Clark?
Clay Clark's a great man. He said, he says,
they both talk very fast.
higher power. I talk a little
Very,
fast
very
too.
passionate.
I'm very passionate. Over to Noel.
Not that fast though. He's at another level for sure. So anyway, I listened to everybody. Really good information. I'm so glad I'm here tonight. I did send Sheila a message already on text about Arizona. What I want to say about this school situation, so very familiar with this problem. My kids, though, although now aged out, thank God they're not in school at this moment in Arizona. We went through this exact problem for 6-7 years for both of them. And so I would just say that, yes, to your point, I think Amanda, perhaps, no, it wasn't Amanda. It was Anna or Nicole or Anna Nicole. She just said about the schools and getting the Hatch Act out there. So I just was called to be on the board, to sit on the board of a charter school. A girlfriend happens to be the president of, it's a back to basics school. Freedom Academy is the name, and here in Phoenix. And so I took the opportunity because one thing I want to bring to it, they are a good group of people, solid group. But they were a little kind of like just maybe scattered in maybe their mission. And so this is something we're going to bring to this. And one thing we're going to try to work in is bringing back to the point of not knowing as a parent what is happening in our schools, is start with a pilot classroom, try to incorporate cameras back in, because tutor time or the preschools, they all have cameras. You as a parent on demand can go and check your kids out. There's no sound involved, but you can see what's happening at all times of the day throughout those preschools, especially the corporate ones. So as a new school board member, that's something I'm going to try to bring back in with the teachers who we are, more friendly toward that full transparency. And I would just say that also a lot of our people out here in Arizona are really getting involved as school board members. They're running 2 seats just opened up out here in my district as well. And so I'm sure that you have your warriors out there in your states who you can help maybe encourage to take those seats as they come up, which are not always often, but maybe more so in the future. The more resistance they get, the less they feel like fighting, and then they ended up not running the next election. So elections here in Arizona are a big deal, as they are, I'm sure, California as well, trying to scoop those seats up. But I think the Hatch Act, I would like to look at bringing that here to Arizona, certainly to the school I'm now a party to, and try to extend from there where the kids did go previous to 2 different districts. So I would just make those suggestions, if you can get into a school board, even a charter especially, and implement some things that aren't allowed in mainstream schooling, like cameras for transparency, and see if we can work our way in a different method than the other ones that aren't necessarily working out to our favor right now.
What a solution. Get involved by actually running and taking it back. If we can trust our voting mechanism, there'll be a better chance, especially in California. But at the same time, we have to do what we have to do. You're inspired now. Did you say you already are a member of the school board, or are you running for the school board?
Yes, they actually voted this month. I'd been going to a couple of meetings after being asked, and they voted. I need to do a background check, but I don't have voting rights right this second, but I will before the end of the year. But my role is really just to help them expand their footprint in the area, enrollment. A lot of parents want to leave because there was some waywardness. And so we hope to bring it back to ABC's 1, 2, 3s. We're going to bring in PragerU as a teaching method. They have a program out now, so we're looking at bringing them in, as well as Kirk Cameron. We're going to research what he's doing for his books and get rid of Scholastic book program that we've all grown up with. All of us did, and that's been the main one. So through the schooling, but they have all those books that are not obviously appropriate for really anybody in school. I don't even care if they're in high school. I wouldn't want my kids reading that kind of stuff. So they're 22 and 19. I probably still wouldn't want them reading any of those books. Okay. So I'm, of that nature, of that super highly conservative. And I think that we need to just push that envelope as much as we can in any way we can wiggle our way in.
Well, congratulations. You're a member of the school board. That's a big deal, and appreciate that you're doing the right thing. It's almost like if there was this vision we're all cells in the body of God. I'm just giving this vision for a visualization. We're all cells in the body of God. We have a lot of cells in our body and they all have a function and they all have to do that function. And the more clear direction they get, the more healthy we are. So the more beautiful and harmonious our thoughts are, they might even help ourselves be better. So let's just imagine for a minute that we are the cells in the body of God. What's the divine direction we're receiving in our part to do our little part to make the whole body function just right in our area. And if we all do that, imagine what kind of world we could have. It could be absolutely phenomenal on every level, everything divinely directed and beautiful and harmonious. Thank you very much for doing your part, Noel. So let's pass that over to Joshua and Sierra.
Hey, I was just gonna let y'all know, my background is I spent about almost a dozen years as a police officer. And a buddy of mine at his department was told by the chief to shut down businesses. And he told his chief, no, because regardless what anybody's policies, laws, anything are, is inalienable. The Constitution does not give us the rights. We were given the rights. And if our police officers understand that, they can tell their bosses no and not do things. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think they have to do it because the chief or the sheriff says it. It doesn't matter who says it. If
That's right. Mulberry versus Madison.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't understand that. Luckily, here in Oklahoma, as far as I know, they still teach the Constitution at the academy, but there are states that it's not pushed that much. And a lot of police officers don't even know that they don't have to listen to rules that violate the Constitution. That's why we actually became a constitutional carry state. It's kind of a funny way of saying it because the Constitution didn't give us the right to bear arms. Police officers just weren't enforcing that law when we had a Self-Defense Act law because they said, well, we were given that right by God. So it doesn't matter if you have a license or not, you can carry a gun. So that was all. I just wanted to let you know that.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing some of your background, offering that. And the rights, where do they come from? They come, the Constitution enumerates, they don't come from the Constitution, they come from God. And that's our natural born rights. And I think if we go right to the very beginning of the foundation of the religions of, I believe that Genesis even goes into possibly the Muslim religion. I don't know, but Genesis definitely the Jewish, the Christian religion, possibly Muslim. Genesis says you're created in the image. You're created in the image. So are we reflecting that image in the United States of America? And I think we are here tonight. We are reflecting that image. Let's reflect it even greater tomorrow. Let's just shine and let the light shine through and know that's going to spread because we were made in that image and that's the real image, the one that matters. It's the real image. So thanks for the rebirth that's coming our way and the United States of America. It's got a great divine plan, great future. And it takes we the people to do our part, stand up, step up and speak up. All right. So one final hand raise. I don't know if that's raised still, Anna, from the past or not, but there is your hand raised. So if we raise our hand, might have something. Okay, so it's probably from the past. So what a great first episode. I love our pilot episode. I had a lot of fun. Wonderful seeing you all. You're all amazing cells in the body of God. No, just kidding. That's the way I think of it for a minute there. But you're all wonderful beings, and I really appreciate getting to know you all. And we'll get to know you further down the road. We're gonna be here every 2 weeks with this new format here and different subjects every week. Mark brought something really interesting up. Economy is a big thing in the United States of America. We really want to create the abundant life for everybody and receive it. And that's part of what this mission, this great experiment is based around. It's the freedom to receive and give in a free market economy. So let's learn more about that. And coming up soon with some blockchain stuff as well. That'll be interesting. Soul freedom techniques. We're here to get free in every way. All sorts of good stuff on this call. And one last time, I'm just going to ask them one more last time. I know we've said it a few times, but if someone could just remind me, the Committee of Safety, Catherine or Jeffrey, what was the one website again that you recommend to go to learn all that stuff for the Committee of Safety? Catherine or Jeffrey?
National Liberty Alliance.
National Liberty Alliance. I want to recommend we check that out. National Liberty Alliance. That's an important one. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'll put that in the chat.
Excellent. And feel free to forward this video. We're going to get it out there. YouTube's going to love us. They're never going to ban this. This is the real thing. We love God. We're here for the higher power. We all work for the higher power. That includes YouTube and Google and all the rest. We love you guys because we know that everything really works for the higher power at the end of the day. So thanks for bringing your best and everybody doing their best to make America a better place, and do what you got to do in your own life to do that. So we're going to finish off today with something I like to do, and we do at our prayer services. And I think it goes down to what I said that one time, which is that I wonder if I can share my screen. Let's see if I can share my screen. I think I can. Okay, so I can share my screen. So this is UWSAM.com, which is UWS America. I'm trying to share the screen here if I can figure it out. So hopefully that's working. And then I'm going to go over to no, apparently I can't do it. Let me see. I'll do this. Now I'm going to share my screen. There you go. And I'm going to do this thing, and it is called the American's Creed. So the American's Creed, I'm going to read it for the first time since this is the first time we're doing it. And if you want to give it with me, you can. I think it's an important thing to give. The American's Creed is summing up in 100 words of the basic principles of American political faith. It's not an expression of individual opinion upon the obligations and duties of American citizenship or with respect to its rights and privileges. It is a summary of the fundamental principles of American political faith as set forth in its greatest documents, its worthiest traditions, and by its greatest leaders. So this is the American's Creed, and I try to give it every day, and we do in Pray America every day. So here goes. I normally would stand, but I'm by my mic, so I think I can try and stand, but here goes. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, support its constitution, obey its laws, respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies. And then we'd like to give the liberties mantra, which is sort of unique to this movement. Look at this. United we stand in liberty's flame. United we march in God's holy name. United we defend the woman and her seed. United we pledge the American's creed. United we stand against foreign and foe. United we challenge the threatening woe. United we carry the banner of light. United we win in a glorious fight. All right. So that's a little way we can like finish off a little prayer there almost, and bring in the best Constitution. Let's stop that share if we can figure that out here. Let's go.
I'd like to finish with a prayer for all of us, if that's okay. So if we can just
Please.
take in a deep breath, and whether we, whatever our faith is, just really, understanding the sacrifice that was made 2,000 years ago by an incredible being that still breaks my heart that he had to do this, no matter how much we know the victory, that his own apostles didn't understand. They thought he was going to fight the Romans, that he was bringing the end to spiritual death, and he was bringing in the Christ into this earth to people that had begged for it and who still deny him. And the same ones that delivered him to the Romans have been embodying. They're called the cabal. And they've been taking our children. And they've been taking our rights. So I want to, how deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that he should send his holy Son, and to save a soul, make a soul his treasure. How great the pain of searing loss. The Father turns his face away. With wounds that mar the chosen one, bring many sons to glory. Thank you with all my heart that you have given me to be able to pray so much deeper than I could before in gratitude to your sacrifice. And may we all on this call, who are all your children of faith, who believe in God and our inalienable rights, and believe that the only solution is God. May we really this Easter imbibe your true teachings, that this and greater works ye shall do, and step forward with the wounds that you took for us and the wounds that we've taken for ourselves. And we have the courage of the lions to not fall asleep in the garden and to not let the Holy Christ self be captured and crucified. But we really pray now to you, Almighty God, on our knees, that you empower every person on this call of their courage and their daily duty and all of their actions to bring the people rise from the ashes, and freedom shall rise in all the nations. Wake up the hearts of billions of souls with these precious people on this call and the leaders of this kingdom. And we need your light every day to keep us going, and we need each other. And so it is, in the name of Jesus Christ and Almighty Father. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Uh-oh.
You. Yeah, wonderful. We call this a leadership call. Everybody here definitely a leader in their own way. And I think everybody can be a leader in this world. There's not one person I met today, and I met yesterday, I met the day before, that doesn't have unique gifts to offer and that only they can offer. And we've all been a little mistuned. The instruments have been a little off. So that's because the society was way off. And now we're going to get retuned in our heart and start to get that new kind of mind in us, that divine, the ease and grace, the knowledge that already the victory's here. It's already been here. That's the good news. So thank you for choosing that victory, choosing to stay in victory these upcoming couple of weeks. We're going to be back 2 weeks from now for our next episode, and we'll send you that invite. And yeah, lots of love and gratitude, everybody. Quick checkout. We did a long kind of thing. Quick checkout, just 1 to 3 words, something you received from being on tonight's call. And for me, I'm just going to go with gratitude. I'm going to go with God, gratitude. Thank you. Let's pass that around. Amanda.
Love, patience, understanding, compassion.
Ooh. All right, David.
Inspiration.
Excellent. Jeffrey.
Encouragement, and inspiration.
Very nice. Thank you. And Sheila.
I love the closing prayer. I think the blessing and suffering.
Darren.
Gratitude, inspiration, and our power and authority.
Excellent. Noel.
I'm going to add on to Darren, inspiration, encouragement, and the courage to see some of what our efforts are need to happen.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anna.
Action.
All right. I like it. Thank you. Rhonda.
Enlightenment.
Excellent. Thank you. Mark.
Uniting the people and the Ninth Amendment.
Hey, remind me the Ninth Amendment again, Mark.
The Ninth Amendment states clearly that any rights that are not explicitly stated in the Bill of Rights are reserved, are not to be misconstrued to mean that you don't have certain rights. So just because a right is not specifically stated in the Bill of Rights, it doesn't mean you don't have it. That's powerful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All rights are enumerated in the Ninth Amendment.
All right, good work. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I think we did it. So
Me.
I like to do this sealing.
I didn't share.
Oh, Joe, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I've been scrolling through the pictures here, and I don't know if I missed anybody else too. I apologize.
It's okay, guys. He's not in too much trouble.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, over to Joel. Sorry.
Because he did a really good job.
Oh, I see there are more. Yeah, see there are more. For some
Well
reason, I was
done,
missing in my
Well
scrolling
done,
here.
Michael.
Okay, over
And,
to Joel to start with. Up to 3 words.
Yeah, well, courageous lions, informed, and I have to add that prayer that I did at the end. Massive amounts of Holy Spirit poured into my heart. Wow. That was prayer. Yeah.
Oh, right. Prayer is important to me as well. Josh, and beautiful prayer. Thank you, Joel. Faith. Joshua and Sierra.
Expansion. This is the year of expansion.
And what came to me was unity. So like we're all coming together to become one.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And unity expansion. Now, I do want to give Claire and Jay. Do you want to say something, Claire and Jay? It's up to you. Otherwise, maybe another time. Oh, yes.
Okay. I'll just say power in Christ. You all embody that. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you, Clara. And Clara, we have heard you sing. I'm probably the only one on the call so far. Love your song. Clara has the key title track, I believe, or one of them, of the new General Flynn movie. It's fantastic, really fantastic. So thank you, Jewel Faith, for singing. We're gonna get the auto just right next time. Jewel has amazing more songs to give. Clara has some wonderful songs to give. Really talent on this call on so many levels. And Rhonda, did you already say something? He did. So I think that's everybody. And if I didn't say your name, but I think we got everybody. So, okay, so this is the final sealing. I do it for fun. It also is powerful. Okay, so yeah, there's 2 parts to it. The first part's kind of like a round table thing, and it's about God being in all of us. So it goes all for one and one in all. And then it goes all raise victory. We just do that for ceilings for spiritual stuff. So if you like it, you can join me. But then the last part, Joel has a stuffed animal, is a stuffy. It's a lion, because they teach us to roar. So if you want, be careful in your vocal cords, just a little roar. But we purr, because a lion, we want to be very comfortable in our heart and very sanctified in the center of our heart, very comfortable. And from that comfort, we shake anything off we don't need. And then that's where we can roar as a sovereign, made in the image, and so here we are. So let's do that. Let's let the courageous, lion-hearted roar, the children of God, and that reflection just reflected back right to God with love and harmony and gratitude and spiritual protection and physical, emotional, mental, all that protection for everybody, not only on the call, not only all extended families and ones we love and connect every day, only people's divine presence acting in our lives, but also for all the watching and all light bearers on planet Earth, all the patriots of God's will, everybody doing their part to make the world a better place. Protection for every man, woman, and child in this nation for this great awakening in all nations. But that spirit of freedom and their divine purpose and holy purpose in this life.
Yeah, I just want to say, everybody, keep those lion hearts open and have a safe solar eclipse. It's okay to look at the thing, but actually, the dark side likes to use these things. So just make sure you pray and pray to light and have a safe solar eclipse. And you know what? Just keep being amazing.
Thank you. That's a little stuffy magic there. I appreciate it very much. Okay, so good. Yeah, let's not take that too lightly. The solar eclipse. Good time to close the spiritual doors, not to open them all. Good time for prayer. Good time to get close and be true. Okay, so that's a good one, Jewel. Thanks for that. Let's tune in. our lion-hearted friend there. So we're all lion-hearted friends as well. So let's give this on the count. If you want to join me, you can. You done mute. It's probably kind of hard to remember right now, but it's all for one and one in all raise victory, roar. So if you want to join me, you can. Joel knows it. So here we go. One, it's done, it's finished, sealed, and the heart of freedom and that freedom. Amen. 1, 2, 3. All for one. And one and all. All raise victory.
Hey, nothing can stop what is coming, you know?
God's way.
All right, thanks everybody. See you next time.
Yeah, victory.